What's up, everybody? I'm Craig with Guitar Oracle. I wanted to talk briefly today about breaking out of some of the patterns that we find ourselves getting stuck in when we're practicing scales. So, for example, we have this basic 3-note per string pattern, which all guitar players have probably tried at one point or another. That's a G major in that 3-note per string. But if all you do is practice that, then especially if you're not focusing on the notes that are in a G major scale, at least when I was learning, and I took that pattern very literally. I thought, okay, we're going to play something in G, and I can just play all over that pattern and it'll sound fine. And it doesn't. There's little pitfalls there. It can sound kind of jazzy, to put it nicely. You don't want to land on just any note there. So one thing we can do when we're practicing these scales, aside from just getting more comfortable with the notes themselves and making sure that we're focusing on the notes that make up these scales, is we can look at the pattern as maybe a starting point, or if anything, not use it as our only means to learn the scale and what all it can do for us. So what I like to do is, working with this G major scale, for example, that's the scale itself. That is all the notes that are in that scale. And so rather than keeping that going and working through it and ending up here in just this weird kind of off-tone note of the scale itself, let's look at this pattern. And now let's try and just replicate that, starting from that G note once again. Now here, because we are starting from the D string and incorporating the B string a little differently for this scale in this position, we are remembering to move that last part up just a half fret to keep those notes intact. So once again though, what we're doing is starting with our original root G here on the 3rd fret. And then instead of continuing that 3-note per scale or per string pattern, we're actually starting over in a way from that G note once again. And then we could once again start with this G and find ourselves all the way up on the 15th fret of the high E string on this G note here. And while it may not fit all of our applications for playing, it's not going to be what we want to do every song, every solo, whatever, it helps us span the entire fretboard or more of it and get more comfortable with the idea that this G scale exists not just off the 3rd fret here, and then I can go up to the 15th fret and do it there too. You certainly could, but practicing it in smaller chunks and working from scratch, I guess, but from that next octave and working it again and again, and then if you wanted to, you could go up here, but you're already here because you worked your way up to that point. So all of a sudden the 15th fret isn't that far away. Is a great way for practicing scales in general and just branching out more across the fretboard as you go. So work with that, experiment with other scales that you like, other things, and most importantly, have fun and enjoy playing guitar, and talk to you guys soon.